amidst intense speculation about his imminent entry into Indian politics. Joining us now on India Today, here in Davos at the World Economic Forum, former Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, Dr. Raghuram Rajan, and joining me for this interview, our Editor-in-Chief and Chairman at India Today Group, Mr. Arun Puri. Welcome. Dr. Rajan, I want to start by asking you about all of what we've been reading on social media, that you've been in touch with Congress President Rahul Gandhi, that you're writing some policy papers for the Congress party, and in the campaign of 2019, Dr. Rajan's imprint will be seen large on what message Congress takes to the Indian voter.
There's a lot of speculation built on relatively few facts. Reality is, I certainly talk to political leaders on all sides. I've spoken with Mr. Rahul Gandhi, I've spoken with Mr. Jaitley. Mr. Chandrababu Naidu was supposed to be on a panel with me this evening. He couldn't come. So I've said repeatedly my sort of desire is to see that we do the right policies in India, and along with a bunch of economists, including Geeta Gopinath, who just took over at the IMF as chief economist, we put out a set of policy papers, and there have been some inquiries about them. How do we take this forward? How do we take that forward? We've been very open in talking about that, and I have all these conversations. Now that has been now made into I'm sort of joining political parties and all that. No, I'm talking to people as I've always talked.
The theory is if Rahul Gandhi is Prime Minister, Raghuram Rajan, the technocrat, is the most likely to be his finance minister.
I think that's making, going too far ahead of where we are right now. I think the important thing at this juncture in India is to recognize that we have some economic problems. And I think at this point what we need to do is set in place the policy structure to remedy some of those issues. Clearly, we have serious agricultural distress which needs to be resolved. Clearly, the pace of growth is not creating jobs. That's part of the distress because, some people in agriculture say what we need is to get out of agriculture. And how do we get people out of agriculture into the workforce in a serious way? That's a matter of creating good jobs. How do we create them? And I think these will include taking action on things like the banking sector. How do we clean it up quickly and improve the governance so that we don't have a recurring problem? How do we energize construction, which has been the biggest employer in some of our emerging market peers as they grow? So these are economic problems. I think economists have good ways of thinking about them. And of course, trying to make them implementable is part of the agenda.
Can you share some details about your conversations with the Congress President, and also how receptive was he about the kind of policy ideas that you've been
I never talk about private conversations with whoever.
So essentially, you're not ruling out the possibility of playing a more active role in Indian politics.
No, I'm not a politician. I have no capacity to be a politician. I have no abilities in that direction. What I would like to see is good policy, and where I can help sort of try and design, shape good policy, if that can be taken forward, I'm very happy. But really, it's a matter of offering policy inputs.
So looking back at the last 5 years, how do you view the policies rolled out by the Modi government? Do you believe they capitalized and utilized the opportunity they had, or do you believe it was an opportunity lost?
No, look, I think there's always good and not so good. Good, we've had 5 years of reasonably strong growth. It matches the average over the last 25 years, so it's not spectacular, but it's not below the average. It's been on par. This was a time when, some of it, the world economy was recovering, so there was some possible overhang on growth. But some we got an oil windfall, which should have contributed to growth over that period. And also the global economy, except, going into this year, has also been recovering. So there was some outside forces that were helpful. What have we done that is positive? We certainly have brought in GST. There were glitches in bringing it in, but we are ironing them out. And that's the way we work in India. We sort of do things initially. It has to be brought in. We don't plan a huge amount before, but once we bring it in, we try the jugaad to fix it, and that's underway. So I'm glad that we did that. Similarly, IBC, the Indian the bankruptcy code, has been an important step forward. We need to bring the possibility that if you mismanage your company or if you have bad luck, that there is a bankruptcy process that deals with the debts you have built up. I think this is something that we need to make sure is effective. I think it's still work in progress. I think these courts, the NCLT is still trying to figure out how to do this in a rapid fashion, but it's work in progress, and I hope it will reach a good conclusion. These are good steps. Where we could have done more, where we need to do more, is in making it easier for infrastructure rollout, construction. Part of that is land acquisition. And land acquisition, we have a very mixed experience in India. Some states are doing it reasonably well, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh recently for the capital, but it's stuck elsewhere. And even in Gujarat, I understand this high-speed rail that we're trying to build is experiencing some slowdown because of land acquisition problems.